Hey everybody, I'm Rob. This is 15 Minutes of Frame. And today we have Sarah Becker. She's a wedding photographer, family photographer, and I'll let her tell you more about what she does. But she is from McDowell County, West Virginia.
Correct.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming today. She reached out and said she'd love to be a part of this channel, and I've never had the privilege of working with you. I don't think any of our guys have ever had a chance to work with you at a wedding. So like to chat, get to know each other a little bit, and hear about your brand and what you do. So tell us a little bit about you and your brand.
Well, I'm the owner of Sarah Becker Photography, and I have been in business for officially a year now. I have done photography as a hobby for about 9 years, and then it progressively grew into family and friends and whatnot asking me to do their photos. I quickly realized that I was very passionate about photography.
Right.
And I wanted to take it to the next level.
Cool.
Something besides just a hobby.
Right. So you built your brand, just starting off as a hobby. You didn't really know what direction it was going to go, right? I mean, you just kind of started it, and you realized you were pretty good at it, and other people obviously did too. So that's when you started to kind of open up and do more, right?
Yeah, honestly, I started it because I wanted to I have he's 13 years old now, but my son at the time, I started it because I wanted to take photos of him.
Perfect.
And I wanted so many that I figured, why not learn how to do this myself?
Right. And were you doing, at this time, those photos of your family and whatnot, were you doing that with like a cell phone, or did you actually go and buy a camera, professional camera to do that?
I started out, my first ever picture, I guess, was on a cell phone.
Sure.
And I played around with some editing software, and then I was like, you know what, I'm really enjoying this.
Right.
So I did go out and purchase a DSLR camera.
Cool.
It was not the latest and greatest. It was used,
Right.
and I just wanted to buy it and see where it went, and
Right.
it quickly took off from
Right.
there.
It's easy to get, talk about camera gear a little bit. It's easy to get, sidetracked and get down on yourself that I'll never be that good because I don't have the best camera out there. I don't have the $10,000 camera body.
Absolutely.
But I've always said too, and I'm the same way. I mean, I like to have good equipment, and we do have good equipment. But I don't. I try to have the latest and greatest, but I don't always. And we have the equipment for the job. But I've always said that the best camera you can have is the one you have with you. And so, like, if all you have with you when you're doing, like, something happens and you're out and about and all you have with you is a cell phone, that's going to be your best friend. That cell phone camera is going to be great for you. And so you don't always have to have the best camera to produce quality work. It's all about creativity and having an eye for it. So that's good. I'm glad you got started into it that way, and now you're shooting. I mean, how many weddings have you shot so far?
So far, I have shot about, I think, 10 weddings.
Oh wow,
so
10
far.
weddings in your first year,
Yeah.
right? Oh,
well,
wow.
not all of that was my first official year in
Okay.
business. Some
Okay.
of it was when back when I didn't know what I was even doing.
Okay.
And I was just getting started.
Just learning.
Since I have developed my skill and I'm now shooting weddings at a more professional level, I quickly learned that was a passion of mine.
Cool. Awesome. So on a wedding day, what's it like for the bride and the groom? When you first walk in the morning, what can they expect? How would they see you? Will they see you as energetic and fun, or boring and bossy? How would that be?
Definitely not bossy.
Okay, good.
I love to walk in and I love to say hi to everybody, figure out where everybody's going to be for the day, check in with my bride, make sure that she is feeling good. It's always a good sign if the bride is in high spirits. And, if she's not, I try to help with that.
That's right.
Somebody can have a rainy wedding day that they're bummed about, and I just try to be that calmness and that peace and be very
Right.
present for them for whatever they may
Right.
need.
I know a lot of times, going into a wedding, and we will, we'll go do the same thing. We'll go in, we'll talk to the bride that morning. Usually they're already there getting the hair and makeup done, and we, if there's something wrong, or maybe the hair and makeup taking a little longer, or maybe it's raining, like you say, and I'll kind of be super polite and but I am anyway. But I'll ask them how they're doing, and just kind of recap their timeline a little bit, and get a sense for how they're feeling, and then if I see that there's something that they're concerned about, I don't like. I embrace that. I'll understand that with them, but I'll reassure them that whatever that is, it's going to be okay, and that that the wedding is going to happen no matter what, and
Absolutely.
and that if it rains, we'll deal with it. It'll be a great experience. We'll make the negative rain into a positive thing, and I've seen that happen many times. Snow is a good thing. We've even had sort of a mini tornado in an area where we had a wedding, and it delayed the wedding of 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever, and it was great after that. So you just can't let brides know that there's a problem. We had
Right.
one case where, I hope you've never had this, but we was at a wedding, and one of my team members, one of my videographers, was at a wedding. He called me and he said, "Hey man, just want to give you an update." He said, "I didn't do it, but," he said, "the cake slid off the table, before the reception ever started." And what it was, it had melted. It was too hot, and the baker had brought it too early, and so the bride never knew anything about it. He was very professional. He was able to save the top for so he could shoot that. And he actually, the bride finally came in for the reception, and she's like, "Where's my cake?" And then, they told her, they said, "Well, he saved your the top of your cake, but the cake slid off the table, and she was fine. She didn't really care. It was all about, making sure she didn't know about the problem, but
Because it was taken care of
yeah,
already.
taken care of, and she still had her first anniversary topper to take home with her. So
And I feel like that's what a good vendor does for you.
right, we have to care, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Right, and you mentioned passion, and so care and passion are the same in a way, but they're different. So we all as vendors should care, but then do you really have a passion on the day of the wedding with that bride and groom? You want to connect with them, and that's why you probably do do you have interviews with the bride and groom before the wedding? Do you talk to them? You probably have your engagement sessions, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
I actually do include that complimentary in all of my wedding packages.
Perfect.
And there is a strategic reason that I do that. I do want to meet the bride and groom before their wedding day. I want those initial nerves to get out of the way. I want them to see what it's like to work with me.
Right.
And that way on the wedding day, that is one less thing that they have to worry about, because they can be super stressed.
Yeah, absolutely, and plus, you're kind of teaching them if they're a little bit, shy in front of the camera or whatever, then you're kind of teaching them some poses of what you do.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
And I try to make my sessions fun for them.
Yeah.
So instead of just, I always say, I promise I won't have you standing there like a posed statue.
Right.
I will play games with you. I'll
Right.
give you little posing prompts. You'll be moving the whole time, and that's good for your side
Perfect.
too. I know.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
So, right, I know we've never worked together, and I think you mentioned, we talked earlier, but you have worked with a videographer before in the past, but there's not usually. Every wedding doesn't have a videographer, and
Right.
hopefully that trend will change. But I feel like every wedding should have at least a photographer and videographer.
They should. That is my number one biggest regret for my own personal wedding, is not having a
Well, cool.
videographer.
Well, cool. Well, sorry you didn't have one, but yeah, it's definitely different. You have to have a photographer, and a videographer does do something different for your wedding day. You can hear the emotions and see the emotions, and
Right.
I always kind of say that we're gonna film your during the first dance. We're gonna film the bride and groom's grandparents and parents, and it's sad to say, but we're not always going to have those grandparents and parents with us.
Right.
So
Unfortunately.
and the bride and groom may not realize that that it's important to. They may not think at the time that that it's important to get those shots of the grandma and grandpa, but like we are constantly, and I know you do the same thing as a passionate photographer, but we're constantly scanning the audience, and we already asked and we already know where these key people are, the people that really matter to these brides and grooms. So we're looking for them at their tables, and during the first dance or whatever, or speech or whatever, ceremony, we're looking for them, and we're looking for emotions. And if I see an emotion, I'll pull away from a shot, from a dance shot or from the speech, and I'll pull away and shoot whoever is giving me that emotion, and
Right.
and that just adds so much more value to the film. But more than that, it adds so much more value to the bride and groom when they can look back and they can see that moment. And they probably didn't see that moment, themselves. They were focused on whatever it was they were doing at the time. So,
Right.
so that all goes right back to caring and being passionate about what we do. So, you constantly got to kind of read people's minds and all that. So I know you have already experienced that if you've shot 10 weddings already. So.
I have, and you're right. The emotions are so important, and I can't tell you how many times I've had a bride say, "Gosh, I didn't even know that happened
Yep.
behind the scenes." And
Right.
Sarah captured so many amazing moments behind the scenes
Right.
that I didn't see, and that is my goal, because your wedding day goes by so fast. It's usually all a blur.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where I come in to capture behind the scenes moments that you don't see.
Perfect.
And I've also had people message me about, my grandmother just passed away, and you were the last person
Yep.
to take her photo.
Right, exactly. I've had that exact same scenario, and it's sad, but it's an honor to
It is.
have be able to give them that. And I've even had one bride and groom, and this is not about me or anything, but like I don't want to talk too much about ourselves, but like just an experience that I've run across, but that they had a pet, a dog passed away, and after the wedding, and short, like a few months after the wedding, and they wanted a separate edit, a small little edit of whatever I had of their pet, and I did that for them. Of course, no charge, but it's not all about money. I mean, we get paid well to do what we do, but at the end of the day, it's about we really want our brides and grooms, our clients, to have a great experience with us, and because we're creating an heirloom, for them.
Absolutely.
It's something that they can have forever and ever, and show their kids and family for decades. And so I don't take that responsibility lightly, and I know you don't either.
No, not at all.
Right.
I'm always so honored and humbled when someone asks me to do their wedding, and
Right.
I still can't believe that I get asked, to be honest. I mean, it's just such an honor that
Right.
someone would entrust me with their memories,
Right.
and I definitely don't take that lightly.
Something that me and Sam always talk about, and we like to hustle. We work very hard. We shoot a lot of weddings every year, and we travel all around the eastern United States, and and something we always say is, you have to hustle and be humble, and
Yes.
no matter how large we get, or no matter how good we are or get. I always want to remain humble and remember where I came from, because
Absolutely.
because I started out, it was a side hustle, just like most of us do, and so I eventually worked it up and to be my full-time job. This is, I hate to say job, it's not a job for me. I really enjoy what I do, so I work
Right.
harder now than I've ever worked in my life, but it's for me and it's for my clients, and I really love to sit back and see the comments on Facebook and social media of somebody watching a wedding film, and I know that matters to you. I can already tell that matters to you quite a bit too.
That is definitely the most rewarding part.
It is,
when
yeah.
somebody says, I had one of my brides, her wedding is actually this year. She told me that if she couldn't have me as her wedding photographer, that she wouldn't have one.
Wow.
And that's just, I mean, I get emotional and,
Right.
and choked up thinking about it. And, whenever someone leaves me a review and they say all these nice things,
Right.
It touches my heart.
Right,
It really
absolutely.
does.
I can tell, and I like that. It's not about the numbers. It's not about the money. It's just about being I guess people being happy about the work that you're doing and what you're giving them and being excited about that. So that's really good. I appreciate
Right.
that. So.
And my husband comes along and helps me too.
Does it? Okay, yeah, we haven't talked about that. So
Yeah.
so you have so let's talk a little bit about what you offer then. That's a good time to do that. So you're the primary shooter. So your husband is the second shooter sometimes, right?
He doesn't second shoot currently, but he will shoot some behind the scenes video for me.
Cool.
And
Okay.
he is also just my second pair of hands.
Yeah.
He's
An
there-
assistant per se.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's there for moral support most of all.
Absolutely.
He keeps me grounded throughout the day so that I am able to fully put my focus on my
It's hard
goals.
work on a wedding day.
Yes.
You're there for well, I don't know, depends 6 to 10 hours, and we don't get to eat properly, we don't get to drink properly.
Right.
So we're in sometimes sort of dangerous situations. We're hiking through woods and we're hanging over cliffs and.
Anything for the shot though.
Right, anything for the shot. So, those things matter. So that other person does help, and we generally always have an assistant with us too. Whether sometimes it's a second shooter, sometimes it's a second shooter / assistant, sometimes it's a second shooter and an assistant. Just depends on where we go. We kind of look at the venue ahead of time, kind of see what we need just to make our day go smoother, even if the bride didn't necessarily. The couple didn't necessarily pay for that package. We'll sometimes bring extra help along anyway, just to help us out, and which
Right.
ends up being good for everybody. So, do you have 6-hour, 8-hour, 10-hour packages? What do you do?
My minimum is 4 hours.
4 hours, okay.
And my middle package is 6. I feel like that is definitely my most popular package.
Okay, cool.
And that generally gets you, getting ready, the ceremony, of course,
Yeah.
and the reception.
Right.
And then a lot of people, if they say I want to do an exit, we can throw that in there too, even
Yeah.
if we
Even-
have to stage some of it. You know?
Right. Fake exits. We do that all the time.
Yeah.
Some people don't know what that is, but yeah, like the sparkler exit, and everything's going to end at 10. The reception's going to end at 10, but the light's about right about 8 o'clock at night, and then the photographer and videographer, their contract is officially up. So then we'll. Last thing we need is 2 hours of dancing footage, so we'll just go ahead and
Right.
fake the exit, and then they can go back and party after that.
And that's something that some brides might not know, that there's really not
Right.
a whole lot that goes on after the main parts of the reception are over,
That's true.
the speeches and the cake cutting and
Yeah.
things of that nature.
Right,
It's
right.
mainly just dancing after that.
Right, it's just dancing, and we can capture 2 hours of dancing footage, and you can photo 2 hours of dancing footage, but they really all look the same,
Right.
It gets a little worse usually in the evening. Later it goes in the evening, but as far as what. How some people are acting, but anyway. Let's see. What is your, if you want to talk about it, what is your price point? You don't have to give me exact numbers. What's your price range from small to big?
Well, right now I have my packages starting at $700, and I think my highest one is $15.
Okay, cool. So and those prices will probably go up, just like as with experience and equipment changes, you'll raise those prices. So yeah, that's great. I mean, you have to start somewhere, right?
They will, and I try to remain affordable.
Right.
Because I remember being a bride,
Yeah.
and I remember being in those shoes, and me and my husband and I, we paid for our wedding entirely ourselves.
Right,
So
right.
I know what it's like to be in those shoes.
Yeah, it's tough. Weddings are not cheap. I have 3 girls myself, and none of them are married yet, and so
It's coming.
it'll come eventually, right? So, I like to think I have friends in the business, out there, but
Yes.
and likewise, but
Same.
but anyway, yeah, it's I worry about that. It's a lot of money, and but you want it to be right. You want to make sure you have good vendors and all that, because you only have technically one shot at a wedding, and
Right.
we should, everybody's goal is to have one wedding ever, and that's it. So I've never been called back to do a second wedding from any couple that's ever gotten divorced. So
That's good.
yeah, I guess. I mean, so I don't think. I think just from what I know, I think over the last I don't know. We've shot about 800 weddings, and as far as I know, we've only had about 4 divorces, which is probably a lot higher than that, but that's pretty good.
That
So,
is pretty good.
yeah, as far as I know, and I try to Facebook friend everybody. I try to friend my brides and grooms on social media. So
I do too. I love keeping up with them afterwards.
Me too.
And, every bride is not just a transaction to me.
Right.
They become lifelong friends.
That's right.
And I love watching their lives grow and their families grow after their wedding. And I love following their story.
Especially for you, because it's good for you too, because like they may want you for other life moments, important life moments. And,
Absolutely.
like when they have a baby or something, and I just that actually brings me up to this. We just released a film last week, and Carly and John, I'm going to call you out. I know I know that you guys are probably going to watch this, but Carly loved the film so much, and this couple was so good to us. But all of our couples are. But anyway, but Carly reached out to me and she said. And I thought there was a problem at first. She said, hey, it started off like, we absolutely love the film. And, then I thought, oh boy, she wants to make a change. But anyway, she said, we loved it so much that, will you send a female videographer for when we have a baby? I'm like, absolutely. And I mean, so
That's amazing.
yeah. So that's an honor, to be
Yes.
for somebody to want us to do that, and we've never done that. So we'll do that, and give them a personal video that they'll be able to have for the rest of their lives, and so that's something new for us, But you as a photographer, you get to get to be with these people again, your brides and grooms again later in life, hopefully for other life events. So I know a lot of photographers that that we're friends with that will film our kid, or not film, but take photos of our kids for different things, proms and all that, and so. And more than likely, those photographers will be the ones that do, my daughter's weddings one day. And
Yes.
so just because we know them so well, and they've been there for all these major life moments. So it's just about building relationships. So
And I definitely do appreciate the loyalty and my repeat clients.
right,
I mean, I'm always, like I said, I'm always humbled when anybody asks me to document anything in their lives.
Right.
But there's definitely a special place in my heart for those that ask me to,
Cool.
repeat customers that ask me to come back and document all those special moments.
right. Yeah, that's important. It's important. So I think. I mean, how does people get a hold of you? You have a website, Facebook, Instagram. What do you have?
I have a website.
Okay.
I also have a Facebook.
Okay.
And I accept inquiries either through Facebook or my website, either one.
Perfect. So I think that pretty much ends our this week's video. But what I'll do is in the description below, I will have a link to all of Sarah's information, her Facebook and her website, that you can follow and connect with her. And anyway, I can't think of anything else. I think we've covered quite a bit. I can't wait to get to work with you. I know you'll get to work with us sooner or later. Somebody out there, book Sarah, book Rob, book Elevated Media.
Book us both.
Yeah, book us both.
We seem like a great team already.
Yeah, absolutely. We both have the same values, and so I appreciate that, and I feel like that we'll work together as a team. And you already mentioned working like the movement aspect of what you do, to get into candid moments, and that's exactly what we need, and that's kind of what we need, those moving moments, and so
it's more organic that way.
Right. Yeah, exactly. More organic
and
less
video.
stressful for the bride and groom, and
Yes.
and it just comes naturally. So, but anyway, thank you all. We'll see you next time. And is that all you got? We're
That's
good?
all I got.
All right.
We're good.
See you. Bye bye.